Hello, Capricorn. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is a 2-month reading. We're going to be taking a look at September and October, and I can already feel this is very special. We'll talk about channeled messages here in just a moment, but I can already see one of the main struggles for you, so I feel like I'm going to be very able to help you navigate. Just a quick reminder before we get into all of that, this can be used for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. I start everything off with messages that come from dreams and meditation, and what came through as I was focusing, especially from like the dream messages today, was an image of what looked like a dead end. And just like in real life, there's often signs and signals that alert you to the fact that you can't go through a certain point. That does not mean that there are no other options in front of you, nor does that mean you should push through. Sometimes there's a dead end for a reason. And the title of your video already came to me, which is Setting a New Course. This is about deciding to go in a different direction or to reclaim something that you never, gave yourself time to do. It's not about the straight and narrow. Life doesn't always go from A to Z. There's a lot of twists and turns. So give yourself an opportunity this month to go within and ask yourself what it is you really want to be doing with your time, with your energy. What provides a sense of fulfillment? Where do you feel like you can make an impact and a difference? Also, where is your time and energy appreciated? All of these things matter. And dead end is a misnomer. It's just the closure or the sort of stopping point of one leg of the journey. Kind of like a relay race. That part is done. Now it's time for something new. So today, as we take a look at all of the cards for these 60 days, I want to try to help you explore where you might set course. It's going to be different for each of you since I'm reading for a general audience here, but I'm going to try to highlight things that constitute opportunities, things that may be a block. We even have a special card for that, and everything in between. Let's get started. Like I said, I can already feel that this one is a little bit special. So just a funny aside, as I was getting everything set up, this card flew out of the deck here. We'll see if it comes back in. I'm going to shuffle it in, but already we have a confirmation that change is afoot. So it's also very telling sometimes just to look and see what that final card of the deck is even before you shuffle. So again, already picking up on the energy. Let's close our eyes, take a nice deep breath. Let go of anything that you might be holding on to. Trace a circle of light around your body with your mind's eye, and let's set that as a protective sphere around you. We're going to call in angels, spirit guides, ascended masters. I'm shuffling everything, and again, we'll see if that card is meant to make a resurfacing. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and get a catalyst and then we'll get started. Let's begin. All right. So your catalyst card today is this sacred workspace. And it's an encouragement from Spirit for you to create a space or a place in your life where you feel safe, connected, and also where you might be able to just sort of like clear your mind a little bit. This could be an altar for those of you that are spiritually inclined and like to meditate with crystals and things of that nature. This could also just be a place where others can't bother you. Maybe it's the library, maybe it's your bedroom, it doesn't matter. Create some space where you can clear your mind, clear your thoughts, and allow for whatever needs to come through to come through. And remembering that extra card, I may pull it out of the deck because it was at the bottom anyway, but the death card also is coming through to help you understand that it's all about ends and beginnings in this moment in time. So try not to cling too much to what could have been, what should have been, or what already has been. At the very end, we'll talk a little bit more about how to embrace this. I want to see if the card reappears naturally, but if not, at the very end, we'll pull that card anyway, since it was at the bottom, and talk about how you can embrace the energy of change, transformation, and rebirth, which are all part of that. Let's get into the reading, though, and see what else is in front of us here. So, as you can tell, I've kind of devised a brand new spread for these 2-month readings. So to the left, we have September. To the right, we have October, past, present, future, past, present, future. We have karma and destiny, big takeaways for each month, and then a connection and a block. Okay, so we're going to start off first with karma, and that's what's basically affecting everything over these 60 days. In karma, we have the Emperor, and the Emperor symbolizes control. It is a very stationary card, and sometimes it's a very sort of like rigid card. Not necessarily as stuck, if you will, as the sort of Hierophant energy and sort of like ways of doing things or a conservative approach, but it does like things a certain way. So the biggest benefit from this karmically is you've learned who you are, what you want. There is an inner strength and knowing that's coming through, and you have the capacity to make things happen. As we go through the cards, we'll see if the self-confidence is there, but I already see that it's in the bones. You've got it. The sort of shadow element of the Emperor is control, rigidity, conservative approach, thinking that it always has to be like it always has been. And in fact, the whole energy of this reading is that of like a metamorphosis for you, Capricorn. So it can't stay the same. You can keep core tenets there, but there has to be a reforging, a rebuilding, and a reimagining. I just feel it energetically for you. So I'll try to help you with that. But this could be, again, the biggest strength and the biggest challenge is trying to control every element of change. Some things have to just develop on their own, okay? But cultivating and connecting to that inner voice this month will be very, very important. We see an Ankh, which is a symbol of power, and we see a crystal ball or an orb there, which is saying don't lose track of your vision, okay? And take sort of ownership of your vision as well. So that, my friends, was karma. Let's see what's coming through here as a past influence. So as the month, and by the way, just to kind of give us some wayfinding, now we're moving into September. So as the month of September kicks off, the past energy that is coming forth is actually beneficial, Knight of Wands. You may feel at the very beginning of September like you're going a mile a minute. There's a lot of things to deal with, and it's almost challenging, difficult, just to kind of like pick a lane to focus on. So that's why we have this sacred workspace, taking a step back, giving yourself time to set goals and intentions, and also to take a pulse and say, what is it that, again, I feel most connected to in this moment? This is a card of accountability and follow through. Knight of Wands represents like a light bulb. You have an idea, this is your follow through. So even though you're busy, and I'm already acknowledging that here as the month of September kicks off, you're still going to have to take certain things and bring them forward. So I think a daily sort of prioritization, like 2 or 3 things could really help you. Just making some bullet points, or even just for the month overall. I really want to do this, and then these 2 are nice to haves. Do something like that. And I really do think it's like 1, 2, or 3 options max so that you can take it to the finish line. There may be some more travel this month. People may want you to show what you mean, demonstrate it. Wands are highly demonstrative. So someone will say, I think I get it. Can you show me an example? Or they might want to see a prototype. Or you may decide to just embody it, show it, illustrate it, because that is a very valid way of communicating, and it goes a lot further than talking sometimes. Show it, don't just tell it. Okay. In the central energy of the month, as we're looking at what's presenting here in September, we have 4 of Pentacles. You know what? It perfectly aligns with the Emperor that we just talked about. The Emperor is conservative and sometimes stuck in his ways, and he clings to the past. And the 4 of Pentacles is a card of protection. And often the person is clinging to something that was. While we're talking, I'll pull this, but I'm going to keep talking in the meantime. So here's what you can do with the Four of Pentacles. First of all, it is a little bit of a wake-up call into sort of like anything that you might be working on where you're not getting a return on your value, on your efforts. And what happens sometimes is there could be a person that is either overly frugal or maybe just they're focusing on themselves. So you want to balance out the exchange and advocate for more. You're either being underappreciated or possibly undercompensated. And so in this moment in time, you have a chance to speak up and say, you know what, this isn't enough. And we can see that, I found it as we were talking here, in this Four of Pentacles. They're holding on because they're feeling this sense of scarcity. Well, it's not enough, but at least it's here. And if I don't have this, then what do I have? That kind of sort of mental approach only closes doors. It doesn't open it. We want to lean into the other positive aspects of this, which is power, worth, and then, of course, ideation, the ability to come up with new ideas, and instead say, I have a really bold idea that I think is going to benefit us, but I need a little support. Can I count on you? I think this is going to be fantastic, but it's going to take more than we have. Sell them on the potential. Sell them on your ideas. Sell them on you. And then have them open this up. And I then like this version of it, which is somebody has more than they're giving. They're not being fully transparent or forthcoming. This card I often refer to as the devil you know. So I mentioned that sometimes we hold on to something that isn't enough because we're afraid. It can be a relationship, a job, even a place that we're living because we're afraid, well, what else is there? So instead of stopping at that question and almost having it be like just this mental block, instead literally answer the question, what else is out there? Can I do better? Instead of saying I can't do better, just turning it into a different question, how can I do better? What else is out there? This will help you find something more. This can also represent a person that doesn't want to share their feelings. You could also be feeling not connected to someone or something. Either way that might be sort of cutting that sword, you've got to pay attention to it. Ultimately, there's more to be seen. There's more to be had. This is a tip of a very deep iceberg. And this month, you have to kind of play the role of interrogator and Imagineer, and you have to think what else is out there, okay? So don't accept something that is not, that isn't enough, I should say. So don't underestimate yourself and don't settle. That's a better way to articulate it. Okay. Because you're pretty, what's the word here? Charismatic, and you also have the ability to pull people into your ideas and your energy. So Two of Cups, partnership, alliances, good news, celebration, friendship, good stuff. So this is why you don't need to accept less than your worth. You don't have to settle for the first thing that comes your way. Be open to something greater than your expectations. Let's take it out of like work and personal development. This is a really good month to meet new people, to take also existing relationships and bring them to the next level. There could be someone that's a little bit shy, could be you, but if there is someone that's shy, what we're going to try to do is get them to open up here. And if they can, then there's great growth potential. If they don't, put your energy where someone is receptive and appreciative. So friendship, love, partnership, and the ability to be very convincing, a very good negotiator. That was another word that I was looking for, because lover's energy, Two of Cups, and of course Six of Cups represents people that want to be a part of who you are, what you're doing, want to be on your team. This is a good energy. So we have a little bit of a challenge here in the Four of Pentacles. It's the only one in this month of September that is a little bit challenging for you. Of the signs I've read so far, you have the best September. I could feel it when I was starting this. You have such a powerful card coming through here as the takeaway for the month. We have the Magician, and I'm reminded of an old Kate Bush lyric from Cloudbusting where she says, I just know that something good is going to happen. Even just saying it could make it happen. And this really puts a lovely sort of energy around the Magician, which is that of manifestation, and that thoughts and words manifest. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you say. Be mindful of how you think, because if you focus all of those energies correctly, they can help attract. If instead they're put into a fearful or negative place, they detract. So let's put it into the positive. What empowers the magician is faith and focus. So do you have the faith that you can do this? Do you have the focus that is going to allow you to put the maximum amount of energy and impact behind whatever it is that you want to make happen? One of the sort of challenges with the magician is sometimes he gets distracted by all the shiny things. Less is more. Focus on the one or two things where you can really manifest and move it, not everything. And if your schedule's too busy, if there's too many people that are kind of occupying your time and space, be a little bit better about boundaries, and also just, it's not just accountability, but it's sort of like discipline is the word. The one thing that the magician may lack is discipline. You get that by the time you're in the high priestess. So stay focused, have faith, and be disciplined. And if you do that, the sky is kind of the limit with what we've got here. Only one card that presents a limit, and it's manageable. Because for some of you, it could just be that you're holding on to something that isn't in resonance with all that we see here. The work that you've done, the progress that's already being made, the new people that are coming in, and the potential. Don't let this hold you back. If it's not good enough, move on, okay? Let's get into the center part of this spread. We're going to focus on the connector, what's bringing these 2 months together. So I just read for Aquarius, and this came through also for them, but not in the same position. It was actually in the monthly takeaway. Very close, though. It's showing that there's something happening at the end of September, leading into October, that is going to open up new doors. And it's partnership for some of you. There could be new love. There could be a really great connection in your life that opens a door. It could even just be a mutual friend, and they're like, oh, hey, yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you, or you should talk to this person. I really am encouraging you this month to say yes to invitations. RSVP yes to an invitation is what I meant to say. Because you never know who might be at a party, a gathering, or some sort of an event. If you do want to take a relationship to the next level, these 2 cards portend good things. This is the love and connection, and this is the promise of where it might go. This is also why you want to be mindful of someone in your life that says, I'm not ready to get serious. If you're ready, someone else is ready too. And let that person know, thank you. Thanks for showing me your true colors. That could be the dead end. So it could be a job where you're not paid enough, a relationship where they don't want to give you what you deserve. And once you go beyond the perceived dead end, all these other paths open up. You can go this way, you can go this way, you can go this way, you can go this way. So I'd like you to open yourself up to receive what you're truly worth. And I do believe that people can open the door for you. You don't have to do it all on your own. This is attraction also. When I'm looking at if people are compatible, I want to see something like an Ace of Cups or the Magician or the 2 of Cups or the 10 of Cups. You got them all. So you have this ability to make connections with people. It does not have to just be romantic. But know this, those connections are undeniably going to open up new opportunities, new paths, new adventures as well. This can be marriage, it can be a celebration, and again, it can be that ability. Because this is a connection, literally that's the card that we're reading, this can help you go from what we see here and this lack to what we see here, which is a much more abundant card. So definitely work your network. All right, let's see what the block is. And I don't really think it's a block. It's interesting. We have the star. So at its core, the star is one of the best cards in the major arcana because it represents authenticity, connection to source, visibility. And I think this is the only reason it might be a block, because in order to do the next big thing in your life, there's a little bit more visibility attached to this. The spotlight is on you. And some of you want to maybe protect yourself, protect your heart. And you're thinking, I just want to pull back. I don't want all of this attention. It doesn't have to last forever, but why not embrace this moment? You've worked really hard to open up this window of opportunity. And this, like I said, is nothing to be afraid of. Because it came through in the block, you don't want to mute your light. You always want to shine brightly. If there's anyone around you that asks you to be quiet, to not make so much of a spectacle, to not be yourself, that is a flashing red light, and that also can constitute the dead end. And then it's time to chart a new course. Sometimes the lights, the celebrity, the sort of like, the glitz and glamour of things can also distract you. So because it came through in the block, I can read a shadow element of the star, which is stay focused on the path. She's looking right up at the star. She's staying in the light. But sometimes all of the sort of trappings of success can go to your head. So that's the only thing. Stay humble, but do enjoy a moment of, sort of like accomplishment, if you will. I think you've worked hard for this. And if we're going to have a block, that's one of the better blocks. We're moving on now to the second month here, October. And we're going to take a look here at the past influences. So let's look at the table here. We've got the Seven of Pentacles. I actually feel like you're making progress. So we had the 4 here. Now we see growth and recovery. It takes time, but it's still good. So again, in October, as the month kicks off, your energy from the past is that of patience and perseverance, because sometimes with the Seven of Pentacles, we want it to be Jack and the Beanstalk. We want everything to grow overnight. And she is being able to sort of reap the rewards of some of the hard work, but if you push too far, too fast, then you might sort of undo some of the great progress that you've made. Let me show you the traditional card here as well, because this is the one thing that I want you to avoid, which is overextension or rushing. As promised, here's that traditional illustration. And if you look closely at his face, his expression, you can definitely get that vibe, like kids in a car on a road trip where they're saying, are we there yet? Is it here yet? Why am I waiting? Why is it taking so long? So we want to avoid that. And just to sort of like contrast it with another one, you want to do this instead. Patience, diligence, love, knowing that everything is growing and going exactly where it needs to be right now. Trust in the process, okay? She is, to some levels, doing that, but I do still see, even with her, she's like, could it get a little taller? Could I get some more fruits of my labor? So be patient with yourself. This often comes after there's been an injury or after there's been a financial setback, or even just like you're starting to grow and learn new things. And there is this tendency to think, okay, now I'm ready. I can just make up for all this lost time. Pace yourself, okay? Don't rush and don't overextend. All right. I feel like I've said that often enough. Now let's go into the present energy for the month of October. We have King of Wands, which is a nice complement here to the Emperor. I kind of like the King of Wands better because on some levels, he's not taking himself as serious. He's not the Emperor. He's just one of the kings here in all of the court cards. I also love him because just like the Queen of Wands, he is imaginative. He is able to see things that others can't. And that could be the challenge. Some of you are visionary and creative and, very sort of outside of the box thinker. And this is a month where people may want the same old, same old. And you've already made the journey to get more comfortable with the unknown, and you might have to sort of get other people to have that same level of comfort. So remember what I said with the Knight. Show it. Show how it's possible. Demonstrate it. Sometimes it's better just to do it, and then later you can explain, or later you can say, oh, I'm sorry, did you need, it's not always the best path, but sometimes it's good to just show it, embody it, or do it, and people can then get on board. This is a month where if you haven't yet found the voice, the vision, and the wherewithal to take it to the next level, you should be, because you have what it takes, and this is a very capable boss card, okay? And it's you embracing that inner Emperor for sure. All right, what's coming through here as we look at the future? Pretty good stuff, actually. The Chariot. Things are moving more quickly. I love how the Chariot has that beautiful star shining from his crown. You may be asked to step into a role that is sort of like intermediate. So you're shepherding things. That's kind of what I'm looking at with this. Because with these 2 horses on the Chariot, you've got to get everybody in agreement and in alignment with whatever it is you're trying to do. So it's a middle management sort of energy. So even if that's not your comfort spot, this is what's necessary to take something to the next level, particularly when it comes to school, work, projects, or anything that you're developing. As your own sort of icon for your life, This is about movement, travel, and direction. So, do you know what you want? Do you know what you want to do next? It's okay to not know that, but if you don't have that answer yet, this is the time to go into your sacred space and meditate and do some research and imagine. Because there are multiple windows of opportunity. I'll highlight them when we look at the sort of takeaways here in just a moment, but I don't want you to miss out on something, because I feel people may be coming through over this 60-day period and offering things to you or opening up to you or wanting to make a connection. And if you know what you want, you can maximize that so much more effectively. And that, my friends, is something very, very powerful. So leadership, movement, and the ability to move something forward. There's been horses in both of these spreads. There's a chance here definitely to have breakthroughs and progress made. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the big takeaway for October, and then we'll go into destiny. So here's your monthly takeaway. What we have here is possibly signing on the dotted line. Justice can be finding new balance in your life, but it can also be a legal document. It can be righting a wrong. It can also be signatures. And on this one, they went the traditional, kind of the traditional route, yes, the heart and the feather. So this is also you tuning in and sort of thinking to yourself, does it feel right? All the stuff that I said earlier, do I feel like I'm leaving this better than when I found it? This relationship, this job, this world? Because when you go into that sort of heart and soul weighing ceremony in the afterlife, this is like an allusion to mythology. That's what matters. If your heart is light, if you lived a good life, your heart is light, and that allows you to go to the next level of afterlife. So you don't have to wait until your life review to make those kinds of decisions. Do what's right. Do the right thing for you and for others. And they're not mutually exclusive. It can be the right thing for everyone. There doesn't have to be a winner or loser. You may be seeking better work-life balance or just better balance overall. You can balance your budget, you can balance your diet, you can balance your relationships. That's the big focus, and you have what it takes to make this happen. Before we even expand this forecast, I want to highlight a couple of these windows that I see for you. I feel like in the first month that we looked at, September, the beginning and the end of the month are bookended with movement and partnership energy. So there's a lot of opportunity to level up if you're ready. Also, you can open something up if it doesn't exist, and we see that here. There could be something between the 2 months where there's a special event, a meeting, a destined meeting where it can also bring in new people, places, or opportunities. And then I also think that you can make it happen here. So we're going to now talk about the destiny. We do have the level up here of the magician. So moving on to destiny, which is super powerful. This is what it's all about. If you can see it, you can create it. She's holding a pomegranate in this one. It almost looked like a heart. But believing is seeing, not the reverse. It's not about, that's too funny. As I was saying, it's not about what's in front of you. We had that environmental distraction. I just had someone at the door. So that is a nice indicator. That spirit literally knocking on the door saying, listen, but you can make this happen if you're ready and if you believe. High Priestess, she's a born leader. She can help people see their vision. Think of like Dr. Martin Luther King, where he literally said, I have a dream, I have a vision. And he brought people into that dream and vision. Leaders of companies, leaders of countries do this all the time. You can do it in your own life. And it doesn't have to be like a sermon. It can just be, hey, I'm really excited about this. What do you think? Don't even say, what do you think? Just say, I'm really excited about this. Are you in? Do you want to be a part of it? That's more powerful because you're not really asking for affirmation. You believe it. And that's what the High Priestess has gotten to the point that she believes. Now we're going to get a little bit deeper into this reading, and we're going to pull some cards for health, wealth, and love. All right, health, wealth, and love. Let's get started with health. All right, so health, of course, representing mind, body, and spirit. Judgment is a wake-up call. In the traditional illustration, which I'll pull in a couple of moments, we see souls rising from the dead, and this can be a chance for you to overcome a difficulty in your life. and even something where you kind of think, oh my gosh, I have to change or else. And maybe there is an ultimatum that the doctor gives you where they're saying, hey, this is serious. You need to move into a new direction. So that could also be what I was seeing. Continuing on one path doesn't lead to what you want, so you're going to try something different. This is also about like actually answering your own calling for whatever it is, again, that you want to do. It's leveling up and doing what's right, doing what's best, doing what's healthy. And it is a second chance. Don't take that for granted. Here is a card in the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition that shows souls rising up from the dead. Again, the ability to rebound and to reinvent. That's another thing. Change it up. If there's any stagnation, now's the time to change it up. And if we take a look at one of my favorite illustrations from the Lightseers deck, we see someone coming through stronger, better, lighter, brighter than before. And sometimes we don't know what's possible, what we're capable of, until we experience a setback. It isn't, we don't want to seek out a setback just for that, but that is a silver lining of having that sort of wake-up call or light bulb moment. So you've got this, you can make this work. And it's also making peace with something that has already happened. Easier said than done, I understand. All right, let's just look at all of the cards and see how this is coming together. So first we'll start off with September. The Four of Pentacles can represent like hypertension. It can also be just general stress that you're holding on to. You can see exactly where it sets in. Sometimes in the neck and shoulders, sometimes even around the heart and lungs. So have you ever noticed when you're really stressed, it could be difficult to breathe. It might be, again, you could have higher blood pressure. You could just be feeling the sense of, it's like heavy heart, right? So none of that is ideal. So we want to really focus on getting the support that you need. And that makes sense because we have love and friendship coming through here. Again, this could also be an advocate, like a therapist, someone in your life that is a mentor, someone that can help you see it from a different perspective. All of those are good. Okay, other things that are coming through as we're looking at September. The Magician card shows me that, especially when paired with Judgment, you can make a change and it can stick and it can be really impactful. We talked about patience, so even before I get into October, it's important to know that changes take time, but we do see some of that starting to happen here. Even the 4 to the 7 shows healing and recovery. So the one thing that you want to be mindful of is there's still a little bit of healing and recovery to be done. Even as you get into October, don't push your body, okay? Please avoid extremes when it comes to drinking or any sort of vice in your life, smoking, etc. You've got to pull back a little bit and take care of your body. Balance overall is really important. We could be talking literally about the inner ear and things of that nature, or vertigo, but this could also just be eating well and making sure that you're not spending too much time partying or working. Everything has to be in moderation, okay? Spiritual energy in both months. So that sacred workspace that we had here, this is just saying carve some time out in your schedule for dreaming, for art, for things that allow you to just decompress, okay? Pretty manageable overall, and actually the star is also highly spiritual. So there may just even be a fear of going deeper into metaphysics or whatever, but it feels like there's a lot of spiritual opening if you're ready, so don't be afraid. All right, let's move onward. We just talked about health. Let's take a look at wealth, which is resources, life purpose, and career. We have a slightly more tricky card coming through here, the 7 of Swords. So when the 7 of Swords makes an appearance, it's really important to lead with integrity and lead by example. If we look at the Lightseers deck, know this, there's usually someone sounding the alarm. It could be someone around you that's saying, I don't know about that person, or are you sure? There's someone that's trying to get you to think or see something a little bit deeper. And it could also be your own instincts saying, am I sure I want to do that? The traditional card also shows that distraction, as we see in the background, can be a tool or vehicle for someone to get away with something. So in the 7 of Swords, you don't want to pay too much attention to one smoke screen. There might be something bigger that deserves your attention. You can briefly address that, but not without taking care of the ostensibly the bigger issue first, okay? So let's go a little bit deeper. We're going to start off with those of you that are already employed. Here's what I see. First of all, it's a great 60-day period overall. One thing that you might be looking at doing is, I know that so many places are getting out of work from home or teleworking, but the sacred workspace is all about finding a place that works for you. So maybe you'll be able to negotiate, if it's not like work from home, maybe if there's too much distraction, it feels like something has to be improved in the overall environment. So take a look at it. It's worth asking if, or seeing if they can measure how productive you are when you work from home, etc. I know some companies are just dead set on bringing people back to the office. Okay, other things that I see. Absolutely, and this goes for everyone this month, avoid gossip. And if you think you can get away with something, you can't, you shouldn't, you won't. And if you see someone else doing something that's wrong, ring the alarm. It's important that somebody is the voice of reason, somebody stops this before it goes further, okay? So I just wanted to highlight that. Now, otherwise, September's looking really good. There may not be enough time or money or people to get something done. You can use your persuasive skills to rally up support. You shouldn't take on more than you can do. And also, one thing that's interesting with the Seven of Swords, it can be overpromising. So don't overpromise. Say, I want what you want, but we don't have what it takes. This is what I can do. If you want more, this is what we need. Are you ready for that? So put that down very loud and clear. If someone still keeps pushing, say, I'm going to continue to tell you this isn't possible. You can ask for it. I can try, but don't hold me liable if we can't do it because it's not feasible. Get it in writing, by the way. Make sure that you put that out there so that you have coverage if you need it. You have a shining moment that, again, it could be your ability to problem solve. Don't just show that there's a problem, but give them the solution. Say, this is what's lacking. Here's how we can do it. Here's who we should talk to. That sets you up for this. Some of you might be afraid of that, but it still looks like it's a good energy overall. Creativity is running high. Persuasive energy is running high. You can right a wrong. You can speak out. Don't go the path of shadows, which is the Seven of Swords. You have to stay in the path of the light because things do have a way of coming out when this card makes an appearance, so you have to be smart about that. Really discern and look at all contracts because we had this card. I want to make sure that you know what you're getting into, you know what other people are doing, etc. You may be asked to step into a leadership role. Everything about this spread is good as long as you can keep your promises, as long as you understand what you're agreeing to, okay? Moving on to entrepreneurs. Something about the way you're running the business in September shows a lack. There may be too low of a price point for a product or service. People love who you are and what you're doing. Don't sacrifice your own well-being to keep it at that point. It feels like you can actually level it up a little bit, and it'll still, not level it up, but kind of like balance it out a little bit, and people will still be okay with that. You don't have to go crazy. But this is too low. So even if you could just get it to somewhere in the middle, like the 6, we don't want to go 5. I feel like it's like 20% difference because we want to get up, 20% difference. It'll get you into a better category. Some other things to think about. Leverage the goodwill. There seems to be positive attention here. Make sure that you're utilizing and amplifying that so that people can see what people like about your business. Fix the financial thing that we talked about. We see recovery. It's probably going to be a 3-month cycle. So we have 4 to 7. Ostensibly, we can get up to 9 by the next month. So just take it slow and know that you're headed in good and even better financial territory than you're currently in. There also may be a lot of bosses or conflicting opinions. And so you might be playing the role of peacekeeper. Or if you need to bring in someone to mediate, that's also something that's coming through. Overall, I like this. I love that we have both of these sort of manifestor cards. You can fix a couple problems. You could launch a couple projects. You can come out with 2 really impactful months if you set your mind to it. Look at your working environment. See if there isn't something that you can do to make it easier for people to feel like they're productive, whether it's cutting down on some of the noise, adding some places where they can chill out, or letting them work from home, things of that nature. Okay, job seekers. When we look at September, I can feel the budget pinch for you. Some of you really need and want something ASAP. It is important to try to compartmentalize that need with also the understanding that you're worthy of whatever opportunity comes your way and you don't want to settle for something. So being human and knowing like I really need something ASAP, but also not putting out there these vibes of I'll take whatever I can get. If you're understanding my nuance, stay positive, stay affirmative. I think you could, this is interesting. The Magician is about creating something. It's entrepreneurial. So if you have the funds, you can make something. If not, you might have to get a loan or get partnership. But you could also do a cold application or a strategic meeting with someone and say, hey, it's been a minute. How's that project going? Do you need any help? I'm looking for X, Y, or Z. You want to be transparent. We don't want to lead with deception. So I really think at the very beginning, rather than just having a lunch that ends up being this sort of like application, say instead, I'd really love to talk about career stuff. Do you have some time? You're setting it up. Be transparent at the very beginning. If you're job seeking, get a lawyer to look at stuff and take your time. There may be something that's hidden beneath the sort of fine print, and you want to make sure that is that comes to light sooner than later so that there's no surprises. I like the odds in October better, but you have 2 hits here. You can get 1 each month. This one seems to be lowballed a bit. This one seems a lot better. So if you're not in a rush, don't worry if it takes 2 months to find something. If you are in a rush, use your negotiation skills. Make sure that you use references to your advantage as well. Have someone else vouch for you. All of that stuff can help. So I see 2 opportunities to find things. I see a signature here at the end of October, but cautionary notes around what you want. And even when you are able to negotiate, there's still a little bit of want involved with the 7 of Pentacles. It may not be everything you want, but it is worth going through at least a round or 2 of negotiation. Okay? And that's everything there. One last thing is, the one reason I don't like this particular opportunity is it also feels like the title is either lateral or lower than what you want, and this one is more in alignment. A King and an Emperor, same sort of energy overall. A King and a Knight, not so much. So October's looking better. Students, overall pretty good. You're already tapped out in September. I think the one thing to avoid is too many social endeavors. I typically like that, but the fact that the 4 is right by all of these love and community cards, you got to focus. So cut back a little bit on the social stuff. Everything academic-wise looks good. Money could also be an issue. So if you're looking at future semesters, make sure that you're also finding financial aid opportunities and things of that nature if you're paying for your own education. Also, maybe you're looking at like paid internships or jobs to help you sort of like cover the expenses, because it is expensive being a student, I remember. And I think it's around October that I'll finally be paid off. It took a long time for me to pay my student loan, so I understand. Okay, October looks better. I see balance. I see more resources, time, energy, etc. It feels good. And anything that you want to put your energy into, I really feel like October is the month. There aren't that many cautionary notes right now. I would say one thing that I would try to do is tap into some of this great experience and leadership and get strategic about the future for sure. Okay, retirees. You also are tapped out a little bit energetically as we're looking at September. So if friends, family, and loved ones are trying to get on your dance card, you have to sort of have some limits there. It feels like you also might have a couple of pet projects that you want to do, passion projects, something that you want to put your time and energy into. I highly recommend that. Even if you're not looking for it, love could be coming through. We'll be looking at that in a moment. Love and new friendships are developing. I also see a little bit of a rebound or improvement with a financial situation. Work with a lawyer, work with an accountant, work with a specialist. You might be able to find a way to get more. You might also be able to get some money if you want to sue or do something legally to restructure your company. There might be a way for new money to come in to your possession. And I know that for retired, maybe it's like not your company, but your assets. So if something needs to be balanced out, I would say any time over the 60-day period is fine, okay? If you have someone in your life and they're less than authentic, it's time to cut cords. Justice doesn't have time for this, nor do you. Let's move onward to love. So for love, we have a very interesting energy here. 3 of Wands. Things will work out. There could also be love coming into your life. And this, as you can see, is someone that you may have been pining after for a while and it's finally manifesting, or it could be someone from a different part of the world that is coming to you. And it's going to be a synchronistic meeting. It seems like it's serendipity, but it's synchronistic. You're at the right place at the right time, and you both make eye contact. And that's kind of what we see with these two cards. It's divinely decreed. But let's start off with existing partnerships first. In the month of September, it's actually pretty good. We have the Two of Cups. We have passion and chemistry coming through here. Finances seem to be a little bit of a stressor point. There could also be one partner that isn't as forthcoming. And feel free to open up, share your hopes, dreams, and even your challenges with your partner, because it feels very safe. And what we saw a little bit earlier is that like secrets have a way of coming out. So I wouldn't worry about it. You got a better card in the energy of love. So talk about it. Make plans together. 2 and 3 of Wands make plans for the future, and this plan will come to fruition. 2 of Wands, it still is kind of out there. But this one, almost like I talked about that Kate Bush lyric, just saying it can happen. And you or someone around you can say, oh yeah, you want to take a trip here? You want to do this? I know someone. Let's book it. Let's do it. October is an even better month. It feels like health is better. Finances are better. Both of you are kind of on the same page. It's a better time to make an announcement, to make a major decision. If you can delay things 30 days, I really like what I see in this month, in this period of time. If you haven't tied the knot, if you're just partnered but not sort of like legally connected, that's what this is. But there is a block in how you want this done. You may not want a big wedding or big gathering, and that's okay. Find a compromise. But what I do like is it feels like both of you are on the same page on that, so that's exciting. Okay. Moving onward to single and looking. Can you find love? Absolutely. You have 2 cards showing yes. So the energies that you're attracting in September are interesting. There could be someone that is an old soul. So the Emperor and the Knight of Wands, someone that's younger, someone that's at least projecting youth, but has this wisdom within them. One or both of you might not have the time that you want or need just yet to make this kind of level up, but it has the ability to do so over time. Don't rush. Give them time. If they don't call back immediately, they're probably just busy. If they never call back, that's different. But if it's just taking a little longer than usual, it feels like there's a little bit of protection going on and they're busy. So give it a couple of weeks. If it's still persisting after 2 weeks, turn your attention. Because what could come through is someone that's even bolder. I see like a more mature version of this person coming through. So it could be this person that steps up, or it could be someone else that's really ready. And so fire signs are coming through loud and clear. And we also have a Libra here. There is a desire from, I think, both of you to be more serious about this. So I would say just wait until wait to have that conversation until October, unless they bring it up first. And that's fine. It may just catch you off guard a little bit, but it feels like if you're looking for a more committed love, that's what I'm seeing. Okay? You should know this is love at first sight with these 2 cards. So it shouldn't have to be something where you're convincing yourself. If you feel it, good, and if you don't, move on. There's better matches out there. If you're single and happy, good for you. What I see is a chance for massive networking, meeting new people. I see also a chance to really improve your health and your finances. Those are big takeaways. Travel is also something that you could decide to focus on. And anything that you set your mind to, I mean, this was true in relationships, but it's especially true for single and happy. You can really make it happen with this. So focus on the one thing that you want to see progress with, and this is the time and this is the place for that. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at the final card. This is your chance to ask one more question, anything that you still need a little bit of assistance with, and we'll let Spirit come through. And then I remembered we'll talk a little bit about death and rebirth at the end. All right, we have the Queen of Cups. If you asked a yes or no, this is an emphatic yes. But there is encouragement in this card to trust your heart. That this isn't something where you have to sacrifice your satisfaction, your happiness, your passion. It's quite the opposite. This is a moment in time where dreams should come to fruition. We have a celebratory card connecting the 2 months, the 10 of Cups. We have a healing card coming through here in the 7 of Pentacles. And we just talked about this as well, the ability for things to manifest when it does come to those partnerships as well. So yes, this is a time for increased creativity, sensitivity, and also there were so many cards surrounding spiritual development here with the Magician, the Star, and the High Priestess, that you can go a lot deeper on a spiritual path or journey. So I really am optimistic, and I think that these cards portend positive movement. Again, if I had to highlight any change, and then we'll talk a little bit about death and rebirth, I would say your biggest challenge, again, is not compromising, not accepting less, not getting distracted. Those are important things. Being able to try new things and not rushing. Overall, though, the rest of the cards are highly favorable. All right, let's get a little philosophical with the Angel of Death, or the Death and Transformation card. So here are two very different versions of it. The more archetypal one that I saw at the bottom of the deck today. We see a horse, which represents progress. The Death Angel does ride a horse. We see the scythe, which represents the ability to reap rewards for the hard work that you've done, for the ability to embrace something that's unknown. And then in this kind of modern version of it, we can see that death is a portal. It comprises both death and rebirth. The hardest part is letting go and thinking, well, you know, I'm so comfortable here. This is predictable. Again, everything that was part of the Four of Pentacles. But this is the other side of it, which is, but there's so much more. And we see that without a shadow of a doubt in this spread, with the Star card, with both Magician and High Priestess, with this recovery energy. There's so much more that awaits you. So don't be afraid to try a new direction, to set a new course, and see what that might bring. So this was super magical. I knew it was going to be. Thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. If you enjoyed this, and I hope you did, please do me a favor. It's very simple. You can subscribe to this channel if you're a brand new viewer or a longtime lurker that has never subscribed. It's free, and it's just a way to know when new content is posted. It doesn't cost anything. You can hit the thumbs up once. That's a great way to send a vote of confidence to YouTube. Commenting is also super powerful. Leave a couple comments over the 2 months. Let me know how it's all tracking, what's going on, and that keeps this video alive and well. So it's easy, it's free, and it helps. Thank you. You can also, if you'd like, give back in the form of a sticker or by becoming a sustaining channel member. I also have a Patreon too, but memberships have more perks here, so I would highly encourage that if you're open to it. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh on all major social media platforms. It's nicholasashbaugh.com on Blue Sky. That's also my website, nicholasashbaugh.com. You can go there for all of my official links, news, and if you've missed a video, there's usually links to them there as well. And that, my friends, is everything. Thank you for being amazing. Let's see if I can bring Apollo up for the close, and then we'll wrap up for today. All right, Apollo is napping, but he sends a little bit of love to all of you. Take care of yourselves. Have a great one. Make sure to check out my daily and weekly videos as well on the main YouTube channel page. Until then, take care.